Hello, fellow Rotarians. I'm Cedric Hill, and it's my distinct honor to serve as your club's president for the Rotary year 2022-2023. Rotary was started in 1905, built on the vision of Paul Harris, a Chicago attorney where professionals with diverse backgrounds could exchange ideas and form meaningful relationships. Rotary Club of Columbus has a rich history beginning in 1915. Over the years, our club has continued to grow to nearly 300 members who continue to find ways to make our community stronger and better. With our makeup of members from a full spectrum of leaders, we are postured to continue this great legacy. In the words of Paul Harris, whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world, it will be known by what we achieve. As we round the corner on 2 years of a pandemic and turmoil in our nation, once again, Rotary rises to the occasion with a design and an approach from a humanitarian perspective. This year's focus, Imagine Rotary, lends one to think, as Rotarians, people of action, what we as individuals may create, and what we as Rotarians across the globe, what we may impact. As we move into the next year with the challenges our world faces, I'd like to call us to be a club of even more action, impacting our community, nation, and world with the same fierceness and intention Rotary has always exhibited. Thank you for your service to Rotary. This is our home club. To the community and world that we face, let's together imagine Rotary. Great, great, great. I'd like to welcome you to our June 13th Rotary Club meeting. I'm Cedric Hill, and I'm excited to serve as your president for this upcoming year. And as you can see from the video, I'm going to be looking to engage you all in some things in our community, and us as Rotarians, we're going to kind of sort of get to moving and doing some things this year. So I'm very excited about that. If you would join me in the pledge, if you would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I would ask past President Ben Richardson if you would come forward and give us the invocation in your faith tradition.
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon. Will you please bow with me? Our Father God, who art in heaven, who knows each one of us, our strengths and weaknesses, but still gives us a perfect love, hallowed be thy name. Father God, we come to you in diverse ways, but we are thankful for your one love. Father, please watch over our military personnel as they serve our beloved country, along with their family members, and thank you for the dedication and service of our past military personnel. Father, where there is healing needed, please give healing. Where there is comfort, please give comfort. And where there is strength, please give strength in these trying times. Father, forgive us for our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And we thank you for this day, this fellowship, this club, and each individual member. And finally, please continue to give us guidance and resources to develop our most precious resources, our children. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Please don't forget the donation cans. They like soft, no noise.
Thank you, past President Ben. We'd like for you all to be seated, and then we'll continue our program. At this point, we'd like to invite Ms. Adeline Lassiter, if you would come forward and give us our visitors and guests today. It's quite all right. It's quite all right.
Thank you, President Cedric. We have quite a few visitors and guests today, and if you will just raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. We have Kevin Lochner from Wade Cleaners at Muskogee Muskogee Club. We have Kia Chambers from the North Columbus Club. Visitors today, Joel Ames has with him Amanda Baker, who's our senior consultant at Piedmont Columbus Regional Physician Outreach. Johnny Johnson has his guest Van Ellison with the Valley Rescue Mission. So excited to have you here. Tripp has brought his son, George Wade IV, here. Welcome, George. And Angelica Rostwakowski has Kathy Rosado with Neighborhood Works, the Hispanic Outreach Committee, and Tri-City Latino Association. John Flory has brought his son, Averett Flory, here. And Ben McMinn has Riz Newman. He's an intern she is an intern with Startup Columbus. Thank you so much. If we can give everyone a warm Rotary welcome.
Thank you, Eileen. We'd just like to re-welcome all of our visitors and guests today to our club meeting on today. Each week, we have the great fortune of recognizing someone from our armed forces or military service. And at this point, Mike Spide, if you would come and introduce our guest for this week.
President Cedric and fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure to introduce to you this afternoon Sergeant First Class Jacob Arriaga. Sergeant First Class Arriaga is a 19 kilo, which is an M1 Armor Crew NCO, and he's currently serving as a senior tank instructor with the 1 Station Unit Training Battalion that covers armor here at Fort Benning. Sergeant First Class Arriaga has served in numerous leadership roles as a M1 Armor Crew NCO, to include tank gunner, tank commander, platoon sergeant, first sergeant, and operations NCO, among others. This soldier has been in the Army just over 20 years, and he's had 7 combat deployments. You know, when we talk about the greatest generation, I feel privileged to be able to do this because these gentlemen and ladies are part of a great generation themselves. He served in 5 deployments in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He also served in 2 combat deployments in support of Operation Spartan Shield. He's a graduate of the courses you would expect him to be a graduate of with his time in service, the leadership courses, to include the Senior Leaders course, the Master Fitness course, and the Tactical Certification course, among many others. Among his awards and decorations, there are a lot, and I'll just mention a few notable ones. He's a recipient of the Bronze Star Medal, the 2 awards of the Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Commendation Medal with V device for valor, and the Army Achievement Medal with C device for being awarded in a combat situation. He's also wears, of course, the Combat Action Badge for his service in a combat zone. He's from San Antonio, Texas, where he was born, and he is married to his wife, Alma. They have 4 children, 3 girls, 20, 15, and 9, and an 8-year-old son. And Sergeant First Class Arriaga, give me a second because I got to walk over here and get some things. We have several gifts for you today. First, we have this Rotary coin that's here that I'm going to give you in a, well, I can pull it off right now and give it to you, that you should keep with you for being here at Rotary. And then also, we have the Passport to the Arts, which is 2 tickets for you and your wife to go to the River Center, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, the paid exhibits at the National Infantry Museum, the Columbus State Theater Department, and the Springer Opera House. So make sure you take advantage of that. And then we have a book, Words for Warriors, that was written by our club member, Colonel Ralph Puckett. And this one is being given to you by Rotarian Betsy Covington in honor of Jeannie Martin Puckett, the wife of the author whose love and unfailing support and devotion enabled Colonel Puckett to become one of the most valiant and honored soldiers in the Army. And also there's a description of the actions that he took for that caused him to receive the Medal of Honor. That's in here as well, so that's for you. Please join me in welcoming Sergeant First Class Arriaga.
I would just like to say thank you. I appreciate this invitation to come out and join y'all in the event today. Once again, thank you.
Sergeant First Class Arriaga. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Columbus, we'd like to again welcome you and thank you for the service that you render to our country and and to the service that you provide for your family also. And also, we'd love for you to take back to your fellow military personnel the concern that we have through this club and the support that we have for the military in this area. So if you would join me again in welcoming Sergeant First Class Arnold. Thank you. Just have a few announcements today. You probably heard us speaking about the inhuman trafficking. At one point in time, we had a committee that was serving viably in the club itself, and we want to reawaken that. So Ms. Sadhana, if you don't mind standing. So immediately following this meeting, I wanted you to know who it is that's kind of sort of doing some of our directions here. Thank you for standing. She's going to have a meeting just immediately following this, and we'd love for you to participate in this. How many of us are familiar with inhuman trafficking? Your hands up high if you would, because I told you we're ready to be active, okay? Hands up high, okay? So how many of us believe in that being something viable that we should do in our club? So we should see all of you all over with her shortly after the meeting. Gotcha. Thank you all so much. And we'd like to thank Columbus Tech for hosting the RLI leadership meeting, which will be on August 13th. Please consider attending. The deadline for registering is August the 5th. If you need some assistance in that, please let Julie know. And then on tomorrow, July 14th, we'll have another one of our Zoom happy hour meetings, which will be at 6 o'clock p.m. If you've not been a part of those, we invite you to be a part of that. And then the all infamous invoices are back on the back table. If you physically get your invoice, they're back on the back table. If for some reason you have been getting them electronically and you have not received them, please let Julie know, and we'll make sure that we get those over to you. But if you physically pick them up, they're back on the table in the back. And if for some reason you have not gotten it as an email, please let us know. It's always a pleasure when we can introduce new members to our club. And we have 2 new members today that we're going to be coming forward. So at this point, Ms. Judy Thomas and past President Joe Young will come forward and introduce 2 new members.
Thank you, President Cedric. I'm privileged to introduce to you the first new member of your presidency.
Thank you.
This is David Williams. David is a native of Columbus, grew up here, and graduated from Columbus State University. He taught school twice. He taught school in Columbus for a short time, and then went to work with SWIFT. He worked with the Charbroil, and he also retired from Communicorp. Some of you may know that I lean on David a lot because he's my brother. I don't believe any story that he tells you about me until you hear my side. But I am delighted that David has expressed an interest in being a part of this fantastic group of Rotarians, and am privileged to welcome him today into membership.
Thank you. And again, don't believe everything she says. You know, I've been introduced a lot of times, but that was certainly the most recent. Thank you.
And greetings, President Cedric. It has a nice ring to it.
Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure today to introduce our second new Rotarian of the year. This is Dr. Gail Burgos. Gail is the Executive Director of Girls Inc., a position that she's held for just over a year. Prior to that, Gail was in many leadership positions, a long career with TSIS. She finished her career there as a director of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. She continues to be a highly sought-out diversity, equity, and inclusion speaker, training leader. She's done seminars and conferences here locally and around the country. I first got to know Gail in a professional capacity, helping her with her retirement planning, but she has become a dear friend. I know her heart. She has a love for all people and a great heart for service, and I know she's going to be a fantastic Rotarian. So please help me introduce her to the club.
Thank you all so much. As I look out over the audience, I see a lot of familiar faces, so I already feel at home As Mr. Young said, I have been around Columbus for quite some time and have been involved in the community. The spirit and the love of Columbus is truly felt, and you see it all around. And to be over an organization such as Girls Inc., to be able to foster that into our community youth, it is youth ministry, and I absolutely love it. I'm passionate, and I'm purpose-driven every single day, so I'm totally honored. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to getting to meet and know each of you here today, so thank you.
Absolutely. David and Gail, both, I'd like to personally welcome you to the Rotary Club of Columbus. We love the fact that both of you all have an actionable past, and we want to reactivate that and utilize you in this club to help us reintroduce ourselves to the community and do some of the viable things that Rotary does as Rotarians do. I'd like to introduce you to the head table. Past President Ben Richardson gave us our invocation. And to my right is Reggie Lewis, and Reggie Lewis at this point will come forward and introduce our program for today. Reggie, if you would.
Thank you, President Cedric. I'm going to have to get used to saying that to you. Fellow Rotarians, most of you know me as Cedric's sidekick in most cases, but the person I'm about to introduce is somebody that I met, unfortunately, when I was a police officer in Columbus, and I wrote his first ticket on Armour Road. But Jason Gamache and I have been friends for quite some time. We feel like our relationship was built on a divine situation, just as it was with Cedric. And one thing I hope you get from Jason today is his passion and love for people, leadership, and growing small businesses in our community. I'm not going to talk very much about Jason because he's going to tell you who he is and what his passion is about. But we're going to play a short video for you to kind of give you that sense of what he's about in the community. And if you don't know him, I hope you get to know him more, not just here, but outside of this room. He has a lot to offer. He has a heart of gold. He doesn't have a parade when he talks about what he's doing because he doesn't need that. And it's a good example of how he carries himself that we need to emulate. In our society today, we don't see those things happening very often, that we take care of each other. But he's a fine example of that. And I'll let this video start off that journey with him.
The U.S. military is deploying 3,500 more soldiers, more U.S. troops to the Central
First off, I have to say that I was a little caught off guard by seeing so many rock stars that I've had involved in my life in this room that I wasn't expecting to see. So it's made me a little more on edge than I had originally anticipated. There's some amazing people in this room, and they know exactly who they are, whether it's an old principal or somebody that I did business with in real estate or something like that. There's so many amazing people in this room. My name is Jason Gamache, and I am very blessed and honored to be here today. Most people know me as the guy that does fancy stuff to cars. Wheels, lift up big trucks, lower cars, make cars faster. But what we really do is we take people's vehicles and we make them unique to their own, something that they're proud of. It's not always about somebody looking at them. It's how they feel when they get off work, get in that vehicle, and take that ride and kind of a level of pride for who they are and what they've accomplished. I have friends that jump in spandex and get on a $10,000 road bike and drive 20 miles and spend all this crazy money on that. I have friends that jump in tree stands at 4 a.m. in the morning and put smelly stuff on themselves to shoot a deer. Everybody has a thing, and our thing at PTAP is to make vehicles special for folks. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself and kind of shoot to the point of my topic for today. My career path started with my dream wanting to be in corporate America. I was lucky enough to land a job as a summer hire at an amazing company right here in Columbus, Georgia called Aflac. I absolutely loved it, even more than I thought I was going to love it before. I jumped around for a couple weeks with different jobs until I landed into a special project. After that summer was over with, I went to my supervisor that I originally was hired for to try to go into the work program at Columbus High School, and I was denied because unfortunately my supervisor didn't know who I was because I was working on this special project. And I was devastated, but I knew that God had a plan. I went to work for JCPenney's in the work program at Columbus High School, which I absolutely hated. But I gained a lot of respect for what some of those guys were doing in the catalog department, and I learned a little bit. But I also started a small business in my parents' backyard. My dad, Jack Gamache, and my mom, Cindy Gamache, they believed in me. They gave me the water, the power, took me to Sam's, got me a 10x20 tent, and I did the work. Fortunately, it got a little out of hand in their backyard. And at the age of 17, I signed my first lease. The day I signed that lease, Aflac called me and wanted to know if I would come back and work on that special project that I had started. But I was so passionate and excited about that new opportunity of having my own business. So I put in the hard work, and I caught the eye of an amazing man. His name is Charlie Lindsay. He was my business teacher at Columbus High School, and he is now the principal at Carver High School. And he saw something in me, and he made a decision to let me quit my job at JCPenney's and work for myself in the work program, which was completely unheard of. Got to go to school half a day, and I was my own boss the other half of the day. Needless to say, I gave myself a 100A every single semester. So I got into that building, and I saw a void in automotive accessories. I saw that, there was really nowhere to pick things up that were cool for your car. I saved up $200. I bought $200 worth of shift knobs, pedals, a couple mufflers, put them on an old rusty baker's rack, slid it in the corner. Had some friends that allowed me to sell their used parts and make a little extra money. I was taking all my accessory money and turning that into more inventory, and my car washings was paying for my rent and my utilities. It went really well until a couple years later when I realized the retail business, I needed a lot larger building and maybe one that didn't fill up with water halfway to my ankles every time it rained really hard. So I found a building that I fell in love with, but unfortunately it was 6 times the rent that I was paying. And I was very reluctant. I was nervous. Until one day I got a phone call from a fellow named Ray Hendricks. He owned a body shop called Ray's Uptown Body Shop. And he said that he heard that I was looking at a location closer to his body shop. And I told him that I was nervous and I didn't want to make that leap. And he said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. If you'll wash the cars from our paint and collision center, I'll supplement your rent until you get up on your feet. I didn't know how to thank him. I didn't know what to tell him other than absolutely. And that spawned us on to working harder and doing more work. And we built a better relationship out of that. But he believed in me as well. I worked 12 hours, 16 hours, 18-hour days back then. And I remember days where I literally fell asleep in the shop, woke up the next morning, and did it all over again. But I didn't look at it as work because I had such a passion for what I was doing. I loved what I was doing. I enjoyed my customers. I enjoyed, to this day, the rock stars that I have that work on my team at PTAP, which is the reason of the success of the company, is my rock star crew. And I enjoyed growing the company, so I didn't see it necessarily as work. I saw it as something that I was enjoying doing, that I got to grow on my own. And I get a lot of people that ask me about seed money or bank money on starting their business, because I love working with entrepreneurs. And I tell a lot of them that it wasn't the money that drove my dream of success. It was the leaders in this community that gave me the encouragement, the nuggets of wisdom, and the push to take it to the next level. And the success of PTAP has given us an opportunity and afforded us the opportunity to give back to amazing nonprofits right here in our community, whether it's a large group or my staff's kids' softball team or baseball team. But my biggest passion is helping entrepreneurs and small businesses, whether they're starting something new or they're taking it to the next level. Because one day, I hope to be known as the Ray Hendricks, the Mr. Lindsay, or the Jack Gamache of our city. We all see all these crazy things in the news about how bad our city is and things that we can improve on. We all know that there's things that we can improve on and that we could do better. But one thing that I see in this city, which I absolutely love, anybody that knows me knows that I love this city. But think about it. What city do you guys know of that how tangible a Fortune 500 company CEO is, to be able to see them at a mixer and shake their hand? Or a world-renowned artist that you can walk up to in a city and have a conversation with? Or a president of a bank that actually gives you advice one-on-one without having to talk to anybody else at the branch? It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it, the tangibility of the leaders within our community. So like I said, I see my success driven off of leaders pushing me and giving me wisdom, that I'm still trying to learn more and trying to meet more of you guys to learn things, and we go back and forth and take our city to the next level. But when I look at this room and doing this particular conversation with you guys, I thought about the type of people that are in this amazing organization. And you're all leaders. And I want you to understand that when you leave here, it could be a 5-minute span of time. It could be an hour lunch. Remember all of these entrepreneurs, whether it's a business that's been around for 30 years or a business that's starting in 30 days. You never know where that little level of encouragement can take that business, or that nugget of wisdom can help them not bump their heads so many times. And then it correlates right back to somebody like myself that's been blessed to be able to give back to the community that gave to me. I thank you very much for your time. I appreciate being here, and I hope that you guys leave this building today with the passion and the energy to help somebody else achieve the amazing goals that you guys have achieved in your own life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason, and I know that there's got to be questions that you all would have, so I don't want you to go too far. Anyone that has questions, or anybody's got a GTO that they need some work done on it? So, questions?
We need to give past President Joe instructions on how to operate the microphone.
Thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your real estate projects you have going on currently, and what your intentions are in terms of some of the build-outs you're doing?
All right. I wasn't expecting to talk real estate today. I'm excited about that. So anybody else, like Reggie knows, I got dropped off by my mom today. I don't have a cool car right now. I'm too cheap to have a cool car right now because I am so addicted to architecture and real estate. And not to mention, I'm blessed to be able to be around cool cars all day at the shop. Currently, I have the old Rialto and Golf Gallery building that I'm developing. It will be the largest passion project that I'll do in my entire life, more than likely. We'll announce in September what we're doing with that project. It is fully committed. The entire building is fully committed already. I hope to have it done soon. With rising material costs, it has made it very nerve-wracking. But that is a project that I am very passionate about. We also have started the Greyhound bus station, which will be an indoor-outdoor gym facility. And we'll have other things that will plug into that. I'm very excited about that one because it's in the Liberty District, and I love the Liberty District. I feel like the Liberty District has a lot of potential, and I'm hoping that we can be the spark for the Liberty District to go to the next level because it's got beautiful land that most people have never even seen in that area. Recently, I got to tour the Ymca that I had made a deal, and when people see the reason that I made the deal to do the swap for the Ymca for the Rialto Theater, they'll understand the passion for why I did that transaction. Not to mention that I knew we had accomplished our goal at the Ymca with stabilizing the building and saving the building because it's such a beautiful piece of real estate and architecture. But W.C. Bradley has been a great partner. They have done an amazing job completing that project. And then I'm sure there's a couple other things. But to answer your question, I guess I'm addicted to real estate. I love it due to two things mainly. One, architecture. For some reason, I'm just as fascinated or more fascinated with architecture than I am an automobile, which is surprising to most people, which is why I said my mom dropped me off and I don't have a cool car because I love working on other people's vehicles, but I'd rather save my money and try to buy another piece of real estate. But my main reason that I've become addicted to the real estate business is because it's allowed me and afforded me to give back to other entrepreneurs. And point at hand is a soldier's wife, Ranger, doing trunk shows, came to me, wanted a space to do a brick and mortar. Her name's Erin Whittick. Her husband's a Ranger in the military. Had a building, it was a crazy story to that acquisition. And I went to her and said, hey, I got this cool space. And she had a business called Posh Peach. It was too expensive for her. I looked at her business plan and said, this is what I'll do. For 3 years, I'll do what you can afford in your business model, and we'll have a small increase after that. And within 90 days, she had outgrown the space, and she's done very well. I wanted a donut shop because I'm fat and I like to eat. So after realizing how hard it was to make donuts, I found a family that had a local donut shop here and had fallen on some hard times and wanted to reopen and activate their business, which is Very Best Donuts. I met them, saw their drive, wanted to eat their donuts. We made a deal, and now we have Very Best Donuts. Another fella, Ross Horner, done a bunch of amazing jobs and done a bunch of great things in our city. And he wanted to do something on his own. So he started Frank's Alley, and I had a space and was able to help him activate his dream of having his own business. You know, I say all that. I mean, I've got different boutiques. We have a Heritage Art Center that we're developing in the Historic District. There's so many amazing projects that are going on in our city that we should be proud of. But it's the small businesses that we need to pay attention to. Those are the folks that when you need money for your softball team or a fundraiser or a trip and a mission trip, it's a lot easier to walk into a PTAP or a donut shop and get a $250 check than it is to walk into a Target or a Walmart and get a level of support for that. So we need to remember that. And I truly believe that the amazing small businesses that we have in our city are the fabric of our success. I absolutely love the Whitewater Project that we have in our city, that nobody else has anything like that, the largest urban whitewater rafting in the world. But there's only so many times we're going to go watch a boat come down the water as locals. It's all these small businesses that we have in Uptown that people come for. They want to come grab an amazing steak at Marbella's. They want to get their hair cut at a cool salon. They want to be able to walk to a donut shop or to a New York street food place or a cool boutique. We have to make sure that we support and understand and recognize, which is very easy to do these days. You look at these big conglomerate companies and you're like, oh, we're just going to go to them because everybody, no. We need to remember those are the people that we eat with, that we go to church with, that we hang out with, these small businesses. And we need to, instead of going to Lowe's, maybe we make an opportunity to stop at an Ace Hardware that's locally owned and operated. Instead of to some big chain haircut place, maybe we should see if there's a local haircut place in town that's locally owned and operated that we can support. But the real estate feeds directly into my passion for small businesses. Probably the longest answer that I ever, but yeah.
And Jason, I've been able to have the opportunity to see a lot of these passion projects you've had over the years. But what was there had to be that one pivotal moment where you decided, I want to do more than just cars. When was it that moment that you decided you wanted something other than just PTAP? Like was there like a passion switch, or was it just that you were bored and wanted more? Because I was one of those that when you started doing this stuff, I'm like, what's he doing? But it all made sense, and you've done well at everything. But what was that moment?
You know, my dad always told me to treat people right and take care of people through high school and through the start of my business. And when I was blessed enough to be able to help other people and give back, the feeling that gave me was something money could never buy. So when I realized that how much I enjoyed talking to small business owners, that was kind of the point. It wasn't really about business. It wasn't really about architecture as much. It definitely wasn't about the money. And I think that's why I've been so successful. I am blessed. I love where I live. I love the people that I'm around. I love my friends. I'm blessed. I really don't need much more other than to keep helping other people. And so I think that's what it was. I think it was just that amazing feeling of being able to help somebody, and I need more of it. And every day I wake up, I need more of it. Sometimes it's just literally I got to talk to this young man that's starting a vintage clothes business. He's literally running it out of a storage unit right now. And just being able to hang out with him for 30 minutes and seeing his passion for what he was doing, and it was blowing my mind that he's selling these old T-shirts from Goodwill for like $80. I was like, what? But he's doing it, and he's growing this business. But being able to help him and give him some advice, and also, you know, as I'm working with these entrepreneurs and these business owners and developing these properties, the amount of education that I'm getting is amazing. You know, I told the story about Ray Hendricks, Charlie Lindsay, and my dad. Just a couple people that have been a part of my life. But the AC Marriott, I met this older man that was a superintendent of that development. And I said, hey, man, I want to learn as much as I can about you building this hotel. And he was really nice to me, but I don't think he really took me seriously until I showed up at 3 o'clock in the morning for a concrete pour. And I kind of surprised him. And then he knew I was dedicated, because I wanted to see 86 trucks of concrete pouring out at one time. I mean, that didn't happen too often in Columbus, Georgia. So I did that, and from that day forward, he literally walked me from the dirt to the wallpaper going up on the walls of that AC Marriott development. The education that I got from him was amazing, and to answer your question is I want to be able to do the same thing to help somebody else out so that they can continue to make this amazing city even greater.
Hey, Jason. What advice would you give for people starting a business, entrepreneurs that are at that big leap stage, whether it's quitting their full-time job to go fully into their entrepreneur or about to pay 6 times their rent? Maybe they don't have a Ray that's helping subsidize. What advice would you give them at that stage in their venture?
Well, that's kind of a two-part question. One is starting small. I mean, literally, my dumpster today costs more than my rent did when I started. It's mind-blowing, honestly. Starting small until you feel comfortable and taking that leap of faith when you're ready. But my faith in God has been the biggest thing for me, especially in the past handful of years, that has driven me to do even more and to take these crazy risks with these old buildings that are falling apart, to just say, I'm just going to do it. I have faith that I can make this happen and that I've got somebody that's got my back. But to take that next step for quitting the job, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. The thing is, I've had so many failures. I've made so many mistakes. I've bumped my head so many times. But that level of education is priceless. I did a deal with a car when I was 19 years old that was horrible. And I literally have this packet of receipts from this dealership that I've thrown away at least 10 times, and I dig them out of the trash can, and I don't even know where it is right now, but I'll find it again when I'm cleaning up one day, and I go through it, and I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? Because I remember my dad telling me, that deal that cost you that much money is going to save you so much more headache and money in the future. And it has. And that's why I always dig it right back out of the trash and put it somewhere, and then I'll find it again some other day. But taking that, sometimes you just got to do it. You got to just do it and have faith and make it happen.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much.
I don't know whether you intended to leave your cell phone, but it'd be great if I could just keep that.
You can have it.
I've always been told, Jason, that passion takes you a long way, and you're basically proof of that today. So as commemoration for your presentation to us today, there'll be a children's book put in our local library and grafted with your name on that. So thank you all so much. Let's give him a hand again for You can see in front of me the banner for this year is Imagine, and if that wasn't a sense of imagination for you to begin, that I don't know what it will take for you. We just wanted to re-welcome our military guest, Sergeant Ymca. I appreciate you being here today and for the service that you render to our country and to our nation. To our visitors and guests, we want to make sure that we also thank you and celebrate you for being with us. And we want to remind you, too, that Trip Wade and Kevin Launcher and those have T-shirts or shirts that are going to be available to the club. I think there's shirts in the back, there's order forms in the back, and they're in a position at this point in time to take your orders and take your designs and make that happen. So why don't we see if we can just fill the room with shirts one day in a relaxed environment, if we could do that. Just a reminder, today's program will actually be on Facebook and on our YouTube page. And next week's program, we want to just, I think she's here, Louise Hurlis will be presenting to us from Habitat for Humanity. And at this point, I'd like to ask past President Ben Richardson to come up, because what we want to do each week before we leave is we want to just do a reminder of who we are as Rotarians, and we'll do that by doing our four-way test. Past President Ben, if you would come. If y'all don't mind saying.
All right, there's a cheat sheet for you over there if you need it. All right. Of all things we say and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Does it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
At this point at 1 p.m., there's no further business. We stand adjourned.